On that, we also asked that no teacher's grades should be affected from first marking period. And if they were, I'd like to know. If you know anyone whose grade went down from first marking period, I'd like to find that out immediately, because my sense of it, when I met with people who understood Power School, was that this would have no effect on first marking period grades. And if it did, individually, no one would be affected. We would go back to that. So there was no going backwards, and teachers have always, and will continue to always have the ability to use all of the factors that you've just listed as part of their grades. However, when they do the grade computation right now, they take it out to 2 percentage points, which is what our existing board policy is. Did that answer it?
Right. So, I mean, I was told by the teachers that, like, they can't do anything about it. They can't, like, once whatever's put into the computer, they can't.
The computer carries grades out to 2 decimal places.
Right.
And you're right, we've asked teachers to do that, because in some cases we had teachers who were carrying out to 5 decimal places, and in some cases people who were rounding it off. And when we looked at it, there was enough differences that we wanted to make sure that people were following what board policy was. And board policy was to 2 decimal places. It's not a change, that's always been there. Some teachers used more, some teachers used less. And it really wasn't, people didn't see that or know it as much before we had Power School. Once we found out about it within Power School, we said, moving forward, we'd like everyone to be on the same page, meaning 2 decimal places, which is the existing board policy, which has been the board policy. So there's been no change with that, other than asking people to correspond with what the board policy is.
Okay.
Okay, and teachers do always have the ability to raise that grade.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes,
Excuse me. I'm here, Steve Severid, Long Valley. Here as a corollary to your busing change of last year, and first off I want to commend you on making a hard decision to take away the courtesy busing. In this day and age, unfortunately, we have to do everything we can to cut budgets. I'm here as sort of a sidelight to that, because I'm one of from what I understand, is the 20 children roughly that are affected in the Long Valley for West Morris Central when you did away with the courtesy busing. And what I'm asking you to do is that, as a corollary to taking away the courtesy busing, is that you take the children who have been affected by that and provide them with a parking spot when they're in the permit process. Because right now, for example, I have twins who are juniors, and there are 40 extra parking spaces made available on January 31st in a lottery. And those were given out to, I'm not sure whoever, but people who had children who had birthdays between, I guess, up till January 31st. There are another 40 parking spaces coming available later this year. I guess I don't know if people have left the town or they've just recalculated what parking is available.
At the high school?
At Central.
Okay.
But there are going to be another 40 parking spaces made available in another lottery that's to be held when they run that, I think it's called Alive at 25. Mm-hmm. There's various driving programs that I'm sure you're all familiar with more than I am, that are being run to help our kids get through this. But one of the things that's with that is there's going to be 40 parking spaces made available later this year. And since we're talking about 20 kids spread over 4 years, we're really affecting, basically 5 juniors are affected by this, that are affected by the courtesy busing. I happen to have 2 of them since I have twins. And what I'm asking for is that anybody who has a junior who fits into this classification and will be available for that separate pool, because it's my understanding that all the seniors get parking spots if they want one. So that's not the question. It's really the juniors who are affected for a period of several months to, I guess, half a year, depending on when they turn, that parking spots be given a spot instead of having to get into the pool with who knows how many other children.
Part of that is that there is a difference between the 2 schools. At Mendham, there are no extra spots. Mm-hmm. There are 420 seniors. I might have the numbers wrong, but I believe there are 360 seniors, and I believe that the number of seniors exceeds the number of spots by something like 30 spots. So there's a difference, first off, between the 2 schools regarding that, and secondly, what you're asking for is possible given the Alive at 25 parameter first. What we're most interested in is the notion that anyone who's driving goes through the Alive at 25 program so that they understand safety. Beyond that, that can certainly be one of the considerations.
And I ask that because you've taken away the busing, and I understand that. We need to save money. But this isn't costing anyone anything. And from what I understand, the other issue in Mendham, and I'm repeating what I read in the paper, I don't know how accurate it is, that you affected approximately 80 kids that are in the borough, I guess, within the same 1 mile radius, as opposed to in Long Valley, you only affect 20 kids. And as you said, if there's no parking available in Mendham, it really isn't an issue here, but it is there.
It is. Unfortunately, more Mendham students were affected, and there are fewer spots at Mendham, so there's that problem. Beyond that, I'll certainly take what you say and discuss it with the administrators.
Thank you.
I think your numbers are a little off. It was about 5 times 80, it was about 400 students in Mendham that lost.
I think that
Talking about juniors?
I think that the number was that, but I think that the 80 represented people who availed themselves of subscription busing.
Oh, actually, my recollection was that the newspaper said that there were only 80 children within the area, and I thought that was an extremely low number, considering how much more densely populated this area is than what's around Long Valley, considering it's not even in Long Valley at the schools in Chester.
So just for clarification, what are the number of students from each high school that lost courtesy busing as a result of our cutting it?
Is it 360 at this school and about 50 at Mendham?
It was 50 at Central
50
and approximately 400 at Mendham were affected. And to your point, it has to do with the density of
Right.
the proximity of those houses to the...
Right, exactly. I mean, you've got Mendham Boroughs right here.
Right.
Whereas, as I said, Westmark Central isn't even in Long Valley, so, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Susan Thompson. I'm with the music parents at Westmore Central. And I have a question. With the budget cuts, we had always had adjunct teachers come in and work with the children in the music department, which understandably, that was extra funding that would have to be utilized, and so those positions were cut. My question is, a lot of those adjunct teachers who have been approved through the board with the same things as a substitute certification have offered to volunteer their time, and they've been told that they cannot come into the school and volunteer. And right now, especially in the band group, because band has so many diverse instruments, there are a lot of different instruments that need to be taught. There's one band director. She has to teach 4 classes during the day, and any leftover time is time, I guess, she could spend with students in lessons, but because students have their other classes, they can't be taking music lessons. So the question is, why can we not have volunteers when in grade schools you can have parents come in as homeroom homeroom parents and read aloud? It would so enhance the program. Right now the band is flatlining. I don't mean they're dying, but I mean they're not improving, because at our Long Valley Middle School, the music program has really diminished. The opportunity of the children to get together and work as a group, as a band, has diminished. So when it comes to the high school, the children aren't as prepared for high school level music. Children that are already there aren't progressing because the music has to be lessened so that the new kids coming in are able to play it. And I'll just give an example of my son as a junior. He was sitting next to a boy that's a freshman who was holding his instrument and just pretending like he was playing during band, and he was getting disappointed in that. When I mentioned to the band director what was happening and that he was getting kind of depressed sitting next to a kid who can't even play his horn, she said that he needed to peer mentor the student next to him. Now, my child is in Boy Scouts, so he peer mentors younger scouts. He teaches Sunday school, so he's working with younger kids. This is his time to be growing as a musician himself, and he's being asked to help the younger kids come up to speed. We need something beyond just the band director's time to work with kids. So my question is, why are we not allowed to have volunteers?
Well, we did cut music adjuncts. That was, since they were one of the relatively new programs that was added, that was one of the first things that we cut last year in terms of trying to make cuts in a variety of areas across the board. And we did at the very same time put together protocols and procedures that would allow people to offer lessons in our schools. But what they would need to do with that is they would need to fill out the forms, get the criminal background checks. Part of the problem becomes with being able to do that during the school day. Right now, I would say that if it's after school, they could clearly do that. So those procedures are in place. They need to fill out those forms, file them with the principal, and that can be done. School day is a different matter for us.
So, and why is it? And
It's-
the reason being, these people that volunteer their time during the day, even when they were adjuncts, are professional instructors after school hours. So, not